You are listening to the Examine Life with Bram Levinson. Okay, so I want you to know that I have just stopped everything I was doing to do this, to record this, because this has got to come out. I just have to say something about this. This may be a bit more of a rant than you were expecting. This may be not at all along the lines of the previous podcast, but it just gives you an indication of where I want to go with this podcast, and that is wherever. Wherever I feel compelled to go, I'm going to go. And, you know, hopefully you like it. And if you don't, what are you going to do? I was just making a sauce for pasta. And I stopped everything, and I turned the stove off, and I closed the windows, and I brought my computer and my microphone into the closet. By the way, if you ever hear that during these podcasts, that's because I get so passionate about whatever I'm talking about that, you know, I move my hands. And these are the hangers that are literally right next to me at shoulder distance. I'm sitting on the floor in the closet, so, you know, that's happening, just so you know, back in the closet. And if you ever hear that, then I want you to just know that I'm in the closet. Okay, so maybe you can, it's like hidden Easter eggs in all of the podcasts. You can go through them and see when you notice that sound happening, and then you'll know that I was sitting in the closet. Anyway, I digress. I leave to go to Greece soon for the yoga and meditation trip. And, you know, I'm just going to get real with you. I have got a hairy back. I have hair on my back. It has always driven me crazy. When I was, I want to say about 20 years ago, something about 20 years ago, 19, 20 years ago, I decided I was going to try laser hair removal for it. And I don't know if it really did anything. All it did was burn my skin and really piss me off. So I did it maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and then I stopped, thinking this is crazy expensive and it's hurting me and whatever. So I'm about to go to Greece. Usually I just get my partner to, you know, like shave my back. Sorry. I know that this is gross. I know that our culture thinks that is disgusting. And to be fair, I don't like it. I've never liked it. I've always wanted it off, to the point where I tried laser hair removal. Anyway, so last week I thought, you know what? Before this trip to Greece, I'm going to get my back waxed. I'm going to go get it waxed. And there's this place just down the street from me. I've never gone in. I've passed by a million times. I've never gone in. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go get my back waxed. See how that goes. Anyway, I just came back from getting my back waxed, and this shit is insanely painful. So I'm just here to let you know that I am shocked at how painful this is. And listen, I have tattoos. I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 tattoos. And some of them are massive. And I've got one on my chest that goes down onto my stomach. And I've had the tattoo done over my ribs, like, you know, where the skin is thin and there is no meat over the bones, for lack of a better expression. And I remember when the tattoo artist was doing the outline for this tattoo on my chest, I remember thinking, wow, this must be what, like, surgery feels like, because it was literally like a blade going over my ribs. Anyway, all that to say, I can manage pain. I have been really good at managing pain. You know, when I was really dumb in like 23, I pierced my tongue. I kept that in for 24 hours until I realized that I had made a really big mistake, and then I took it out. But the actual piercing of the tongue, you know, it wasn't the end of the world. The tattoos have not been the end of the world. I just got my back waxed up to like the back of my neck. I mean, holy shit. This is unbelievable. Like 40-year-old virgin, unbelievable. That Steve Carell moment. The struggle is real. And so I want to talk about this because over the past little while, I've been thinking about what women go through. You know, how much sort of preening and waxing and lasering and making up and hair and all that stuff women go through, and how much of it is voluntary, how much of it is, you know, imposed by our culture and society, and how much of it is sort of thrust on them by not just by men, but by women as well. Women looking at other women, men looking at women. It's fascinating. And I know too many of my friends, and I'm only saying too many now that I just got my back waxed. I know too many women who have told me that they've done it all. And when I say all, I mean all. They've waxed, lasered bits and parts and areas of their own body. And I've always just taken that as just bits of information, no different from any other information I would get. So it's sunny outside, great. You had your bikini line lasered, great. Okay, next, whatever. I just got my back waxed. Did I say that? Have I said that yet in this episode? Just got my back waxed. And it took my breath away how painful that was. And the woman who did it was fantastic, and she was quick, and she was apologetic, and she knew the parts where it was going to be more painful, and the parts where it was going to, or the areas where it was going to be more painful, and the areas where it was going to be less painful. Wow. And so for a second, I sort of felt like I'm getting a glimpse into what it must be like to be a girl, to be a woman in today's society, in today's culture. And to be fair, I think that every guy needs to go through something like this to just have an inkling of an idea of what women go through. And listen, you're not waxing your back, or maybe you are. What the hell do I know? But, I know that women are waxing other parts. Some of them, the parts, that is, that I cannot even imagine going near with some hot wax and a popsicle stick and some very quick pulling. I think that men need to know what this is. I think that it would be great for men to understand what that kind of pain is in the name of simply looking what you think is acceptable out in the world. Because listen, I wax my back because number one, I don't like the hair there. And number two, I thought, look, I'm going to be in Greece. I'm going to be on the beach. Like, normally I would shave it, but then the regrowth is really quick. I wanted it to be a little longer between, removal and regrowth. I thought this might be the answer. Turns out that all I got was a really, really good and hardcore moment of inspiration to sit down and record me talking again. I have been thinking, though, about what women go through, what it feels like for a girl, to quote Madonna. And I would love to be able to give women the experience of what it's like to be a guy in the world. And I think there are a lot of women who take as much as they can from that example. And what I mean by that is, guys don't have a biological clock, right? We're not thinking, oh, I'm 35, better hurry up and have kids if I want to have kids. I mean, listen, there are geriatrics living all over the world who are, for lack of a better term, still knocking one out. And, it's still viable. It could still fertilize an egg if it needs to. And so there is an unfairness there. I think there is an injustice there. And, the whole the shitty double standard about gender just generally always rubs me the wrong way. And I'm aware that, and I'm generalizing here massively, but when a man is firm and when he's certain and when he's, potentially instructive, he's called shrewd. And sometimes he's called a good businessman. And when a woman is the same, she is not called that. She is called many other things. I'll leave those names to your imagination, but I'm sure some of you have heard them, because I think some of you are the person, the woman, the girl who has been in that position before. And I think that that's shitty. I think it's really dumb that just because this energy was born into a body that happens to be defined as male, the rules are different. They shouldn't be. I shouldn't be paid more than a woman for what I'm doing, and no guy should. I don't see why guys have the right to do whatever they want with their body, and trust me, they do whatever they want, as we saw most impressively recently with the Me Too movement. And yet, the right for women to do what they want with their body is under attack? How is that even possible? Ridiculous and unacceptable, may I just say. So I would love it for women to be able to get the experience of what it's like to be a man. to not have to worry about a biological clock, to not have to worry about what other people think is going on with their bodies. And you know what? By the way, from now on, I'm not waxing anything. This shit is never happening again. I want to be really clear. I don't care where I am. I don't care who's there. I don't care what people think. Because the pain that I just felt was greater and stronger than anything anybody could ever give me. You want to laugh at me because I got hair on my back? You can laugh at me. You go fuck yourself, and you can laugh all you want, because I would rather you laugh at me than me have to go through that again. And you know what? I think I'm going to own it with a different kind of proprietorship than I've ever owned it before. I think I'm going to be like, you know what? Yeah, this is it. And listen, I should know better. I study the body. I study the energy in the body. I have what I think to be is a pretty good spiritual outlook on life. And yet, nonetheless, I still went through this. I still sort of went through a moment where it was only about the body. I was identifying as the body and not the energy in it that animates it. And you know what? That was a lesson. This has been a lesson for me. I thoroughly encourage all of you out there to listen to these words and to consider what I'm saying. Because I don't know if this is a discussion that happens, especially coming out of a guy's mouth. I don't know if this is a discussion that really happens in our society and in our culture. But I think I urge everyone to just do you. Just, the body is what the body is. Let the body be what it's going to be. And for whatever reason, if you're putting yourself through pain in order to get the body to look or to be what you think it should be, ask yourself if it's worth it. For some of you, it may be, and that's okay. Plastic surgery, Botox, tattoos. Listen, I've got tattoos. I may get more. I love those tattoos. And I feel like the body that I find myself in reflects me more, me the personality, me the energy in the body, more with the tattoos. So I'm not saying don't hurt the body, even though somebody who, would potentially be very, very spiritual would be telling me don't hurt the body, because then you're hurting the energy in it. And I know that this is in Hindu teachings. I'm telling you how it is for me. If doing what you need to do makes you more comfortable in the body and the pain is worth it, then I'm not saying not do it. I'm saying do whatever you need to do, but ask yourself if it's worth it, because I'm not sure that the pain I just went through was worth it. And by the way, for those of you listening to this saying, I've gotten my body waxed, it was no big deal, I bow. And I have mad respect for you. I wish I had been in that situation, but I wasn't. And listen, I wasn't like sitting there sobbing. I was controlled and I was laughing. I tend to laugh when there's pain, as you can ask my osteopath. But truly, it was surprising. So in a perfect world, guys would experience this kind of experience in order to understand what women go through and maybe have a bit more compassion and understanding for what women go through, and maybe not put such crazy expectations on women to look a certain way in order to be valid or desirable in the world. And I would love to be able, my God, if I had the power to just tweak this into being, but I would love to give women the opportunity to experience what it's like to be a guy in the world, where you don't have to worry about walking down the street at night, or at least not as worried, where you don't have to look over your shoulder, where you don't have to do your hair, and listen, I hardly have hair and I just shave it off, so whatever. And by the way, I'm not letting it grow. I'm not going to be that dude who does the comb over. I'm not going to be that dude who's got the around the world fringe that hangs down in some sort of 260-degree mullet. That's not happening. That is not happening. So maybe there is still a little bit of vanity that I either have to get over or not. We'll see. For the time being, it is staying exactly the way it is. But nonetheless, I want women to be able to experience that kind of freedom, because it is freedom. What I just experienced, that kind of pain, that's not freedom. That's oppression. That's me putting myself. It's Stockholm Syndrome. It's me identifying with the captor being culture, the captor being with that part of my brain that doesn't like the hair on my back, and then going through that kind of pain in order to remove it, to have what outcome? I can tell you right now, I'm sitting here recording this, it stings. It stings. So listen, I'm off to Greece. My back is hairless. Yay. If you have any experiences that you want to share that are similar, especially if you're a guy, because we don't hear this stuff from guys enough, but from anybody, really, male, female, whatever, you know, transgender, whatever, just throw it out here. Throw it out, let me know. And I'd also like to hear what your take is on like what that experience would be like for men and women to experience each other's experiences, so we could better understand what each other goes through. And by the way, it's not all, lollipops and rainbows and unicorns for guys. Like, there isn't enough discussion about how there is insecurity among men, and how there is negative body image in men, and the struggle for men, because there is one as well. I'm not saying it compares at all to the struggle for women, or the efforts that women have to go through in order to simply show up, literally and, metaphorically, in the world. But I just want us to understand what each other is going through, so that we could potentially have, number one, a little bit more compassion for each other, and number two, we could give each other a break. We could give each other a break so that maybe we don't have to adhere to these stupid, archaic, superficial games anymore, these rules, these culture, societal rules. Yeah, that's it. So my back stings, and I'm going to go shave my head later. So there. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. This has been the Examine Life with Bram Levinson.